Hey friends, welcome back to Channel Surf. If this is your first time here, I'm Jazz and I watch a shit ton of TV. And today we are closing out our Extracted series. I'm here with the final family, the runner-up family, which I'm like super excited to talk to them. But as you guys always know, whenever I'm talking to a family, it's usually like very bittersweet. They did not win the competition, but they went so far and gave what I think is one of the best story arcs of the season. So without further ado, please welcome the Eyere family. That is going to be Mom Lynsey, Brother Dallas, and our survivalist, Rhoman. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So excited to talk to y'all. How does it feel to, come in second place? I know it's not a win, but you made it so far. How do you guys feel?
We're very competitive, especially me and my brother. So I know this eats us up a lot, but this is reality TV. Sometimes that's just the way it goes down.
Yeah, but you have to take some solace in knowing that you did a hell of a job. I mean, y'all were the family to beat for the entire season. So are you at least proud
Exactly.
of that?
So proud.
Yeah.
I feel like we won in so many ways. Like just the overall experience of it that I got to have with my sons
Hmm.
and watching him just be a beast of a survivalist is like more than I could ever ask for.
Yeah, that's actually one of the most interesting things that I think with your family in particular. You guys have one of the most dynamic story arcs in terms of like your familial relationship. And it felt like, at least for me, I was not only watching you guys evolve with your gameplay, but like also as a family. And so I would love to dig into that. But before we do, I want to talk about the game itself. Okay. Like I said, Roman, clearly one of the ones to beat out there. Lynsey and Dallas, I know like we got to see episodes where it seemed like it was like really rough for you guys in HQ. Like people were targeting Roman left and right. Was there
Was there
anything that happened in HQ that like we didn't get a chance to see? A lot gets left on the cutting room floor.
There's so much you didn't get to see in HQ, like, it's insane all the stuff that you don't get to see. Yes, Dallas and I definitely butt heads about a lot of stuff we have, like, our entire life, but you didn't see us having fun. Like, we
Mhm.
had so much fun there. I mean, tell about it. What did we do there?
I mean, there was times when I was throwing backflips, doing handstands, stuff like that. We were
Yeah,
doing paper airplane
he's a
contests,
circus
rubber band
act, this
wars.
guy.
So it was fun, but they also don't show things like we had good alliances with some of the teams as well.
Yes,
Mhm.
But
exactly.
like when we got backstabbed, it was just like they kind of made it seem like we weren't aligned with them at times, and so that
Oh.
made for maybe better TV, made it a little bit more dramatic. But looking back at it, it's like everyone's saying, "Oh, we didn't have really good gameplay," but we were playing a really good game in there.
Yeah, that is one good point. They did not show how aligned we were with Luke's family almost the entire time until we got deceived.
Whoa. Because I'm trying to remember every episode. I don't think I realized you guys were aligned at all. It just seemed like they
No.
were like coming for you guys.
No, that's why it was so hard when they stabbed us in the back
Yeah.
because we were working with them. Like we trusted them. We thought we were going to the end with them and then they
Yeah.
stabbed us in the back.
Oh my
Same
gosh.
thing with the egg challenge too. We were
Yeah.
pretty aligned with both, Polly's family and Luke's family, and to see what they did after we had left the room when they smashed Roman's egg, that's what really, turned me up. That's what turned the
Yes.
fire on for me.
Well, yeah, I don't think we knew about any of those alliances. It's always good to hear about more of the behind the scenes because, like you guys mentioned, love it or hate it, it's reality TV. So everyone has a storyline. There's always a story to tell. So sometimes, like a lot of context for us as fans, it just gets lost, and we only have the 58-minute or 50-minute episodes that we see airing every week. And so I do, because Dallas and Lynsey, you guys got to watch like the game play out in HQ. So by the time it was Roman and RJ, were you guys surprised that it was RJ at the end with Roman?
I mean, they make it seem like RJ complained a lot out there, but he really dug really deep out there. I
Yeah.
won't lie. Like
Yeah.
he put in some work, and the time that he was out there fishing and all the bears were moving around his stuff, that didn't really get shown. But I mean, he put in a lot of work, that's for sure. And he lost a ton of weight. He went a lot
Yeah.
of time without eating food. He went a ton of time without a blanket. So you got to give him some credit for that.
Yeah, I'll say he had his struggles more like in the beginning of the season is the way that I
Mhm.
saw it. Once he got banished to his island, he started he was happy there. Like he
Yeah.
had a complete turnaround once he
Yeah.
got to his island and he was set up. I mean, like he could have lasted weeks. So I just I give it up to RJ. I think he's a great guy. He did amazing out there. He dug deep. He's really resilient. He's got grit. And he's just a really good person in general. So I'm really glad to see if we couldn't win, like we so wanted to win, let's not glaze over that. But RJ's an amazing person.
Yeah, and just for your information, I spoke with RJ's family and his mom, Michaela. She literally said the same thing. She was like, "If RJ wasn't gonna win, we hoped that Roman would have won." So
Exactly.
yeah,
Our
Yeah,
two
I'm
teams are like that.
they're
Yeah.
like
yeah.
family to us now. Yeah, we love
Yeah,
them.
I also spoke with the Olsen brothers a couple weeks ago when they were extracted. Dallas, they actually said that if they weren't going after Roman, and you guys were aligned more, that they think you would have been down with the fake advantage to try to deceive another family. I wanted to ask you directly, do you think you would have done that? Lynsey said you wouldn't have. She
I
said you
think
wouldn't
I
have.
probably would have entertained it, but when it comes down to it, it's her decision as well.
Yeah.
So if I brought that up to her and I'm like, "Hey, mom, we should do this," she's gonna be like, "No, we're not doing that." And then in the end, I'm gonna be like, "Okay," but maybe I would have entertained it. But when it comes down to it, I don't know if I really would want to be a part of their shenanigans.
I
Yeah.
don't think he would have. I know his heart and his soul, and this kid would not have done that. That's why I was like, get my son's name out of your mouth, because let's not lump him in with Team Luke. No, we're
Hey,
not doing that.
I've been lumped in the whole series with Team Luke. They're like those guys are the snakes and the villains, and Dallas is just as bad. So
Oh.
True. Yeah, you've kind of got that villain arc, but
It's really interesting too. I do want to touch on that. But before I move on, Roman, I do have to ask you because when they sent out the fake advantage on the show, you're like talking about it possibly being fake. Was that edited in, or did you know as soon as you got it, this could be deception?
Yeah, I called it before anybody else. As soon as I started watching the video, I was like, I mean, I've been out there for over 2 weeks at
Right.
that point. So I was like, I know how this game works. Like, I know what advantages people get, and I can kind of feel it out. And I was like, this just doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like my family wouldn't be putting this into a message. They would
Right.
have sent it in a note. And I was like, this seems too urgent. This doesn't seem right. And I was like, I really hope you guys aren't getting deceived. And so I never got my hopes up too high.
Hmm.
So I just felt like if I was going to get a reward, it was just going to be a minimum reward. So I didn't want to get my hopes up anything crazy. So I was just like, this might be fake. And so I was just thinking about it until 16 hours later, and they were like, you don't get anything. Then you kind of see my reaction where I'm like, it's over. Like, I don't get my stuff back. And then they're like, you can go get your stuff back at the bottom of
Yeah.
the lake. And I'm like, oh, okay, the relief. So yeah, that wasn't edited. I knew before they knew. I was like, this is weird.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, I was like, this kid is smart. Like you picked up on that really quickly. I do love that you did make yourself a spoon just in case you were gonna get some food.
Hey, we gotta pass the time by. I was doing anything out there.
For sure. And then just kind of going back to, people's perception. Obviously, the Olsen brothers are kind of looked at as the villains, the troublemakers of the season. Dallas, you said you've been getting roped into that. I think you guys as a family, like I talked about it at the top, had one of the most interesting like storylines, I think, because in the beginning, I think it's episode 1, you guys are talking about your dynamic. Dallas, you were saying like you call your mom maybe every 2 weeks, which call your mom more. And then Roman, and you were saying, well, Roman calls her like every day. And so it seemed, and then Roman, you too, you're like, I'm a mama's boy. So it seemed like you guys have Roman and Lynsey a really close knit relationship. Whereas Dallas, you seemed a little more stoic and direct. And then over time, we saw that kind of fade a little bit, particularly when the fake advantage came about. In Dallas, you said something like, we really only have each other. And I want to talk about that moment because that's when, the Grinch, his heart grew all those sizes. I want to talk about you in that moment because we didn't see you be like super emotional up until that point. And I think you even acknowledging that, oh, this is my family. These are the only people here. What was that moment like for you when you found out that they turned on you and they were targeting your brother in that way?
Yeah, I think it just goes on to I was out there for weeks and I only had two people to think about. It was Roman and it was my mom.
Hmm.
So, living my life as a salesman, I'm thinking mostly just about myself and, my job and what I do. So to go away from all of that and go into an environment where all I can think about is Roman and think about my mom, it just goes to show that I like, I've got more that it's more than just me. It's a
Hmm.
family. And, I gained a lot of respect for Roman being out there. He did a lot of stuff that I know that I could do, but maybe I wouldn't bring myself to do. Enduring all the cold, going 4 days without water, minimal food throughout weeks, and even fishing.
Yeah.
So I gained a lot of respect for Roman out there. And then, I also gained a lot of respect and I learned a lot more about my mom living in a very small space, in a shipping container turned into a little home, two twin beds and
Yeah.
little heater down in there. And I'd go to bed every night super cold with a heater, thinking, oh, all Roman's got is a little bear skin. So yeah, it took me a little bit of time to come around, that's for sure. But when I did, I hope I touched everyone's hearts out there.
Yeah, you really did. Has this experience, like, changed the dynamic between the 3 of you? Has it made the brothers closer? Has it made you and Lynsey closer? How has it changed your relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think it made a dramatic, effect on a lot of us. For me and my mom, for sure, we talk a lot more, we call a lot more. We have our little extracted group chat that we're
Yeah.
always chatting in as well. So, and it's every week where it's the only thing that we can think about. It's still surreal to all of us seeing ourselves on Fox, on TV, on national TV. So it did bring us a lot closer together, and I gained a lot of respect for Roman. And I mean, I think at the very end of the episode, it talks about how I gained a lot of respect for Roman,
Mhm.
and he's a man to me now, and that was like a big thing for him. Reading over the note too, and like seeing how I wrote down in the note and everything. So and seeing him, a little tear shed from him reading about, what I had to say in the note, because I didn't really write anything in any of the notes until the very end. And
Mhm.
so for him to see like my handwriting, he was like,
And that
"Wow."
really did touch
Yeah.
Roman
Yeah,
when
it
he saw
did.
that Dallas had wrote in there.
We had talked about it before we went out there that I'm never gonna cry out there. I don't cry. I'm not a person who cries anymore. Like that's just not a thing. But then yeah, you go a few weeks with just self-reflection and I don't get
Mhm.
to talk to my family. The only time I do is through these letters. And it was primarily just my mom talking, and I knew that's what it was gonna be. But then when I was on that island and I got a letter and Dallas had wrote something, it like really touched me. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Dallas believes in me. Like Dallas is saying something to me. So that like really touched me. And I was like, I'm never gonna cry out here, but I did, and like Dallas said, I think we all just trauma bonded together. Like, we went through a really difficult experience. They have a separate bond, but they also got to watch what I went through. So like
Mhm.
nobody can relate to what us three went to. So it's something that brings you close no matter what.
Yeah, it's certainly a unique experience that the 3 of you get to share now together. So no matter what the differences might be, that's one thing that is, the common thread in your life experience. And let's talk about that letter because I actually have that right here in my notes because yeah, you did get really emotional, Roman, when you got that. And even when you were ultimately extracted, you were just saying like how happy it made you that Dallas now told you that you did a good job. And I wanted to dig a little deeper into that. Like Dallas is a big brother, I'm a big sister, and so I think sometimes, Dallas, we don't realize how much our approval means to our younger siblings. And so, Roman, I just wanted to talk to you. Was it just getting Dallas's approval that meant so much, or was it just because, you wanted to build a closer relationship with him?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, but what people don't realize is the entire time this is 3 weeks of me not talking to anybody. So
Yeah.
like even a small message means the world to me, just knowing that my family is watching. And the entire time I had gotten nothing from Dallas. So I was like, okay, Dallas just feels the same way about me. Like it's just the same. Like we're brothers, we love each other, but we don't need to say it at all. So my mom sent in all these letters, and that note made me emotional at first anyway, because the things that she was saying, she was just like, if there's a time to go out, it's now. She was like, you've done so well. You're at a disadvantage. If this is the end, this is the end. And so it almost had me at that point. But then I just see at the bottom Dallas's handwriting. And I was like, oh, Dallas is here too for me. Like my brother is writing for me. And yeah, I think it is that type of approval. Like I do look up to my brother. He's a very successful person. And all
Mhm.
you could ask for from your family is for them to be like, you're doing good and that we admire what you've done. So just to finally get that from the two people that were there for me just felt so good.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And Lynsey, how did it feel, watching back these episodes, just watching your sons develop a closer bond just through, like we said, Dallas's approval and his excitement around how well Roman was doing out there?
It just warms my mom heart, and it's really kind of what we wanted to get through this experience. So seeing that happen was, it just was so much joy in watching them come together like that, because there has been a disconnection between them through the
Mhm.
years. And part of it is, Dallas moved away. He's always been lived further away from us. So there is that disconnect. So to be able to have this situation where we're so close and can bond over this,
Yeah.
it's just It's what we wanted from this experience, and we got it.
That's one of my favorite things about Extracted subscribers, you guys. I know I sound like a broken record because I think I say this every interview. Yes, the survivalist competition is amazing, but it's also watching the families come together. This is, like I said, this is a unique experience that not a lot of families will have to go through together. Like, certainly I could never
Mhm.
do it. Like, you guys are out there for, 3 weeks. I don't think I will last 3 minutes out there because the first time I see a bug, I'm like, press the button.
More than 3 weeks. It was 25
Yeah,
days
it's
he was out
25
there, like,
Oh
total.
my
Three and
God.
a half,
it's
yeah.
still that's so
Yeah.
long that he made it. It still blows my mind.
Yeah, it's quite a feat, right? And I also, talking about the 25-day thing, I talked to RJ and his family about this because last season, season one, we saw Haley, they had to go on like a scavenger hunt or there was a trial, a final trial in order to get the money. This one was just like survive until you can't anymore. Was that shocking to you that that was going to be like the
Yes.
determining factor in who was going to win the game or not?
Who do you want to answer first? Because we got different perspectives of this.
Okay, let's go to you first then, Roman.
I was under the impression that it was going to be a final challenge. So I go out there with just one little emergency water. I end up
Mhm.
winning that emergency water.
Mhm.
And I was just trying to ration that as long as I could. I knew I could go 3 days without water. And on the third day, I was like, okay, here's what I need to do. I just need to drink this water because I'm waiting for a final challenge. And so on the morning or the middle of the night, heading into the 25th day, I think they were asleep or they weren't in headquarters. And I'm talking to the camera and I'm like, okay, I just have to drink this water right now. Like, I shouldn't have waited this long. This is really unhealthy to go 3 days without water. So I drink the
Mhm.
emergency water. It's the best thing I've ever done. And I'm like, I can't believe I waited that long. Like, I should have drank this. I'm waiting for a final challenge. And then that morning, there's an announcement over my speaker that I will not be given any more resources. I will not be given any more supplies. And so I kind of screwed myself the night before. Like, I had messed everything up and I was waiting for a final challenge.
Mhm.
And it turned out that it was going to be last man standing. So I didn't know that until the very final day. And I
Okay.
had no more water left. So I knew what RJ had at that point. So for me, it was just like, okay, I didn't know the rules. I didn't know what was going on. So that's my resentment towards it, is I feel like I wish I would have known earlier to have a different plan than what I had decided to do.
Sure, sure. So there's no point in me asking you what you would have done differently to prepare because you just said it. And also
Yeah.
just knowing what you were up against, it would have made you prepare a little bit differently. So I understand that and completely understand your frustration there too. So who has a different perspective here though on the final?
They
I think
did.
it's probably me
Okay.
because I'm totally all right with it going to a last man standing, but
Mhm.
what it came down to was RJ got so much more
Yeah.
supplies than Roman did.
Yeah.
So Roman didn't really stand a chance. And you guys all know he was saying if there's no, clear path for
Mhm.
me to win, then it's probably just time to go.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was, I was all right with maybe seeing Roman struggle a little bit, but my mom was like, I can't really bear this anymore,
Yeah.
and I don't want him to drink the lake water. And I'm like, let him drink the lake water, you know? So, because it's that brotherly love, you know what it is. I can see him struggle a little bit more than my mom can, but
Right, right.
if it came down to it and it was a last man standing and they both got, equal supplies, then
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
have came out on top.
Yeah,
Right.
there was
Yeah.
a funny moment when I was talking to the Olsen brothers. Luke was talking about bumping into you, Roman, out there, and he says the first thing you said, "I'm Roman, and I haven't had water in 2 days," and then you just like boom off because you had
Yeah.
all of this energy.
I had it the whole time. I don't know. Whenever I
Yeah,
would see people, everything about food or water just left my mind. I was so happy to see human beings because,
yeah.
again, they don't show how long we went without seeing people. So I'm sitting there
Right.
talking to myself for days on end, and then I run into people, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever.
He
So
did.
what
He would just light up whenever he saw human beings. It was
Yeah.
so cool to watch the interaction with him, with the other survivalists. I loved that.
I can only imagine.
Oh,
I know it's like a solo survivalist competition, but I think that's my hope going forward in like future seasons is that maybe the survivalists get to see each other a little bit more. Cause I feel like that does do wonders to like how long you can be out there. Cause I mean, I'm a social person too. And that's another reason why, probably a minor reason why I don't think I would do well out there. Cause it's like you're just talking to the animals at that point.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very difficult. I agree. We need more human interaction out there because I start to go a little bit crazy answering my own questions.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, Dallas, I want to talk to you. You had some really cool fashion in HQ. Is that your thing? Like, I feel you have some matching sets. Like, you had some really cool clothes. Talk to me a little bit about your fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really big into high-end fashion. I like, I'll spend more money on quality clothes, knowing that, that it looks good, it makes me feel good. And the most important part for me is, if I look good, then I feel good, and that means, I'm
Mhm.
gonna do good. So, and I knew, millions of people are gonna be seeing me. So I had to do what I had to do. So I brought it all out, that's for sure. There was a few things that I actually couldn't wear because, like the branding and
Branding.
everything.
Right,
So
yeah.
I tried to be like pretty minimalistic with the things I brought. I really just, like mostly dark clothing, like black clothes, stuff like that. But
Mhm.
there's some cool brands that I wore on the show. So I'm glad that the people, see my fashion sense and they like that. I've been getting some, messages in the DMs. My kids love this. Like, where's this from? So I'm telling all the moms where I got all my stuff from because I'm not gonna gatekeep any of my style. If you guys want to know about it, you let me know. I got you.
Oh gosh, you're gonna become a fashion influencer now.
Hey, that's my home.
He would love that. They
Say that one
loved
more
that
time.
about Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
a fit check. We would do like a daily fit check. So you might see like a video on my Instagram of like my exit interview where I'm doing a little fit check at the end. So it's fun.
I was excited to see that stuff. When we
Oh.
first
Yeah, we
left,
haven't seen
they were
it.
telling me, like, I get the rundown of what happened at HQ, and they're like, Dallas is doing fit checks, like all this stuff with my mom. And there's so much footage that we just don't get to see most of that.
I
Yeah.
know,
So
I want it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta say, like it's pretty sad because like I was actually I feel like I was really positive, really happy throughout the show.
Mhm.
There was the times when, I'd obviously be like, come on, Roman, what are you doing? Like that brotherly love. But without somebody like, going against Luke and or David and Daniel, like Luke's family, without Sandra, like a villain, it was almost like there needed to be another, dramatic person on the show like me. So there's hours and hours of footage, and they just chose to take what they wanted and portray me the way that they did. But I am actually one of the most positive people that you'll ever meet.
He really is. I can vouch for that.
Yeah, that is another thing that the Olsen brothers said about you is that you actually are really like a nice person. And I think again, I've been watching reality TV for so long that I can kind of tell, okay, most people who get a villain edit or like a troublemaker edit, that's usually not who they are like as a person. It's just better for entertainment.
Yeah.
But I do love that outside of you saying it for yourself and then your mom seconding it. There are other people that are like, no, Dallas, what you guys saw was like one thing. Dallas is a nice person. You didn't come off mean though. It was just a contrast to your mom who was like very, upbeat. She's worried about Roman out there, and then you're kind of like, well, whatever. You know what I mean? So it wasn't mean. It was just
Suck
like
it up. Yeah.
yeah, it felt like, stoic big brother energy.
I also want to say the dynamics of us were a little off too, because I'm the one who applied for the show. I was supposed to be the survivalist. And that's what we were planning for the entire time. And then,
What?
like 2 weeks before we left, they said, nope, Roman's going out. So I was supposed to be in the wilderness.
Well, okay. How do you think you would have done? Do you think you would have made it as far as Roman?
I can't say because I didn't do it. I think I have really strong mentality and I'm very positive too. I mean, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree.
Mhm.
So I think I would have done really well, but I'm so happy that it happened the way that it did because watching him survive out there is probably better than what I could have done. Like the experience that I have of it, I'm so happy that it happened the way that it did. So, but I think people
Wow.
would be shocked if they heard that because, like he wasn't prepared in any sort of way. I was the one who was preparing.
Yeah.
And that's why you see me a little off in HQ because I'm like, this isn't the experience I wanted. I wanted to be out there.
Oh, that would have been interesting to have, the brother on brother on brother, like the Olsen brothers, you
Yes.
two,
How would it have
Doug's
been
sons.
if these
Yeah.
two were in HQ?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we were low key robbed. I mean, I like the way that it played out too, but I would have loved to see that dynamic in HQ too.
Yeah.
I
Me too.
know. It'd be good.
It's what I had been prepping for months
Yeah.
was to go into HQ. And then
Good.
From the flint and steel, building shelters, like everything. So I gave him a crash course before we left on what I was practicing.
Oh my gosh,
No matter what, though, I was gonna be in HQ. I was
Yeah.
not going out there.
He said hell no to
Dallas was like, not me. I want me and my fits to be in
Yeah.
HQ.
Yeah.
You guys all saw me do the Bodro.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You did get it to smoke though. You did get some smoke coming out of it. So
Yeah.
a little more time, I think you guys would have gotten it. Wow, Fox, if you're listening, let's do All-Star Extracted and get Lynsey out there. I would love to see
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
I want to go out. I'll do
Oh.
it.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, it was such a pleasure watching y'all this season. Like I said, I think you guys had my favorite just like story arc. And although you all didn't walk away with it, you did a great job. So please be proud of yourselves. Rhoman, I look up to you. Like I said, I'm so happy. I was so happy to watch you doing your thing out there and always keeping a positive attitude. And I just love what it has done for your family as well. So I'm sure this isn't the last time we'll see you guys on our screens in some capacity, but I'm gonna be following you guys. Dallas, I gotta see the fit checks and then I gotta see what you guys do next.
Yes.
Yeah,
Check them out.
We're not done.
The applications are in. We'll see where we're at next.
Yep.
But, we're excited
Yes.
for the future.
Oh, applications to what? Can I get a spoiler exclusive of what other shows you guys might be interested in doing?
I've applied to a few shows. Like I really enjoyed this experience, and I would not mind getting into more reality TV. I
Okay.
think we're all gonna get opportunities.
Yeah,
That's what's cool about this.
I need my revenge story. I was very angry when it went down the way it did.
Yeah.
And it's been eating me up for
threw
a
his
very
microphone.
Yeah, I threw my microphone off. I started screaming at production. I was being a child for a while because I was very, very angry with the way that it ended.
Yeah.
And for the past 6 months now, I've been waiting for my moment to have my redemption shot. So maybe you might see me on Survivor or something like that. We'll see. Hopefully.
yeah.
So
That'd be
who
that'd
knows?
be
I
cool.
I was gonna say, Lynsey, I see you since you want to do outdoorsy stuff. Survivor for you, Rhoman, Big
Thank you,
Brother.
Nick.
Actually,
Big
I
Brother.
think you would do really good on Big Brother, Rhoman.
Okay.
Dallas, I could see you on the Traders. I could see you on the Traders.
Yeah.
I'll apply in September. We'll see if they pick me.
Well, guys, it was lovely to meet you and to chat with you. And like I said, I'm sure we will be seeing you soon. So until next time, take care. And I'm glad to know that this show brought you closer together. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my chat with the Eyere family. That is going to be our survivalist Rhoman, mom Lynsey, and brother Dallas. Like I said, they have one of my favorite storylines of the season. I love to see a family who might start out with some differences really come together in the end, because like Dallas said, at the end of the day, family is really all you have. So that wraps up this season of Extracted. But if you think you can survive in the wilderness, I know I can't, but I would love to watch you attempt to do it. So go to extractedcasting.com and test your luck. And who knows, I might be talking to you next season after the show. Until next time, guys, bye.